Huh. Gosh, isn't this lovely people? Man, it is incredibly windy out here right now. I'm for those of y'all that are wondering, I have been out in Ireland for 5 days now. I got another 5 days as I'm actually about to start. Today, I want to talk about this guy right here. This guy right here, which I'll get up closer so y'all can see. And please excuse, I don't know how good the audio is going to be because the wind is like crazy right now. But this right here is the Zhiyun Cinepeer C100. Hi guys, how you're doing? Today I have a light product that I am going to be reviewing that I'm really excited about from Zhiyun. Today I am going to be talking about the C100, the Cinepeer C100. This is a 100 watt RGBWW light that goes from 2700 Kelvin all the way to 6500 Kelvin. It has your typical HSI modes, it has your RGB modes, but it also has a pixel mode, as you see right here. It has all your different effects. It also has a pretty interesting music mode that I actually am really impressed with. Now, completely in full disclosure, Zhiyun did send me these lights. I do get to keep these lights, and I can use them where I want to. So technically this is a paid promotion video, so just full disclosure. However, Zhiyun does not get to see this video before it goes live. They haven't had any say in these videos. Anything that I say in this video is my honest opinion about these lights. Now, this is not Zhiyun's first lineup of this from Cinepeer, or this bar tube style lineup. They've had made RGBWW 2 bar lights before. You'll notice this one is very different because it doesn't have the handle, and I have a reason why, which I'll talk about later. But you'll see that the light covers the entire thing, which is great. So if you want to pair these up, if you get multiple of these, you can pair them up and there's not a little line. So it is also a pixelated light as well. The other thing that I should point out is, unlike the other wand style lights that they had where you had the boost mode to get the 100 watts of light, there's no boost mode on this one. This is using the full 100 watts lights. When you're at 100%, you are at 100 watts of light, of power, as you can see, quite bright. Now, this light is going to be going for about $300 for the standard kit and $400 for the combo kit. Now, there is going to be a discount, I believe, that is going to be running during the initial launch of it. Right now, it's going to be $379 for the combo kit. And then if you want the standard kit, it's going to be $284. But I will also have a promo code that Zhiyun has provided for me that will give you an additional 10% off of the purchase if you guys do purchase either the standard or the combo kits. I will have that in the description down below, so definitely go there and check that out. Now, if you do ultimately after this video decide to get this light, I recommend you going for the combo kit because there's quite additional stuff that I personally think is more necessary. Now, Zhiyun has sent me the combo version of these lights, and let's just go ahead and I'm gonna cut away to a roll, and I'm gonna sort of show you guys an unbox and show what you get with the combo kit. All right, everybody, so this is the Fiber Ray C100 right here, and we're gonna just sort of unbox so you guys can see what comes in the case. By the way, for those of you that may be interested in how this light, in terms of doing product reviews, I am actually using the light right now as the overhead key, so this is what's emulating the light right now so you guys can sort of get your first angle of how it looks in terms of maybe something like product reviews. So let's go ahead and unbox this and just take a look right here. And as you'll see right off the top, we got the light in the package right here. And yeah, the first thing you will notice is the weight of the light. Also automatically attached with the light are these barn doors, these reflective barn doors that come with it. Now, this doesn't mean that it's permanently attached. You can actually, as I will demonstrate right now, and you can see we can take it purely at the light right here. Also, to be of note, I don't know if you've noticed this, I don't know if you guys will see, but there's a little dot here because this thing actually can come right off, and you can actually see the LED emitters and how they line up. We got a little glass cover right here to protect the LED emitters, but you can see them right here. So what you do is just make sure you took that on, make sure those are lined up, and then it will lock right in. This also, from a side note, this will also possibly give us some insight of potentially some additional accessories that you may have. So you may change out this dome setting bar right here, where you can maybe use some other else. That may be something that Zhiyun will have coming in the future. Also in the case, you have a little pouch. This is really designed to hold the power brick. So you basically just put the power brick, and then on top, in here, we have some anti-mold packets. So if you want to, we got that. We also have this little clamp on, which is actually really cool for the light. Basically, you put this on, let's see, which is the top, that's the top. So you would basically put this on right here, and then you would clamp down. And it's really sturdy, really solid. I would definitely recommend making sure that you put this on the top, or however you guys are lighting up. Make sure this part is on the top so you don't have the bottom where it can easily come loose and then this falls apart. So make sure you have it on top so there's a little bit more resistance to that. Next, you will have this guy right here, which is the diffusion. Now, if this will be an awkward, seem like a weird diffusion, since it kind of looks like a shower cap, strangely enough, but it is in fact a diffusion light, and I will demonstrate how to attach this later on in the video. Inside this as well, we also get a USB-C to USB-C cable, because as you will see at the bottom of the light right here, you have not only a DC port as well as a Type-C port right here, which is awesome. Now with the Type-C cable, you cannot charge. It will not charge running with the light on. The DC port will. The light has to be off in order for this to charge the light. So be mindful of that. And then finally, you get this, which is the egg crate. Now you got a nice little egg crate that really just keeps the lights from spilling all over the place, and you got and it covers the reflector dish as well. So right now I've got this diffusion on, which is really, really cool. And actually, I'll just go ahead. I guess I'll go ahead and take this off so y'all can see just how bright this guy is. So we're gonna switch this. So this dial right here lets you select the thing you want to adjust, and then this dial actually makes the adjustments. So if you go to 100%, you see how bright this guy is. This is it off. I'm gonna crank it just to 5%. And just look how powerful this light is without it. I will just say this right now. These barn doors don't really do well in terms of cutting light because they are reflectors. They sort of dip everything in. But what they are great for is using this other accessory, which is the diffusion. So essentially what you do is you put the diffusion on, and then you go across the barn doors. And voila. And voila, it creates this nice little diffusion, which this is how I kind of like enjoy it, which definitely softens the light. It doesn't soften the light by a lot, but it definitely helps, definitely bring some softness to it. And again, right now I'm only at 8% of power, so being able to set this just off to the side, and just throw some lights on. That's what's really cool about this light. I will say initially it's quite a pain to get on, but what I do love about it is the fact that you can fold this and basically you don't have to take this off. So you could just leave this on if you want to. And that's essentially how I'm using this light right now, is basically just having the diffusion on. I have it just set right now. If you can see off to the side, I actually have it about, I'll say 4 feet away. Right now, this is set only to 2%. I have another light, my typical key light, off over here that's doing this, and this is just designed for fill. Now, you can use this for key lights if you are in a more controlled environment where you basically could take away the light, but keep in mind this is still only a 100-watt light. And it's also quite small. Now, given the reflective stuff, it will push out quite a bit of power. The only thing is that it's going to be a lot more harsher compared to something like the key light that I have over here, which is like literally 4 times as big as this light over here, and it can create just like nice, soft, flattering light. But in terms of a fill light, this is great. Now, I have recently, like just 2 days ago, used this on a wedding where I basically used this to light up a dance floor alongside one of my bigger lights, and it worked great. It did its job. I didn't even use it at full 100%. I actually used it at 65%. And it was able to get the job done. Now, keep in mind, again, this was at night where I don't have light from sun or anything outside, or very few. It was very dimly lit interior, so it's a lot easier to put light like this and push it out. But it actually is useful. Also, during the wedding, I use it to create fill light for when I had the bride sitting at the edge of a window, getting video shots of her there, and just to fill up the room and just lift those shadows up. Using this light as a fill light is going to probably be, in my opinion, the go-to way to go. One, because it is very small and you can get it pretty damn close. So I'm actually gonna turn off the other ones. So that light just got turned off. So now I'm going to turn this just to 1%, and this light is literally like just right off the distance from me. So this is 1%, and as you can see, this is enough to, again, that's the beauty about it, is that you can get, now obviously this will depend on the lens and the setup and the scene you use, but these lights are small enough that you can get them pretty close to your subject and you can get a nice little fill. Now, if I was to crank this to 54%, I'm completely blown out, and that's 50%. And then 100%, yeah, I'm just like clipping all over the place. And keep in mind, this is with the diffusion on it. So we're already losing about a stop of light coming from the light itself. Now, with the combo kit, you do get this little grid attachment accessory. At first, when I got it, I was kind of figuring out weird how it would work, but then I realized that it has these like little pouches on the inside, and basically you're supposed to put these on the barn doors and basically essentially attach it, and it will essentially cut off all the light from spilling everywhere, so it has a little bit more control. And that's pretty much how the light up setup I've been using to basically get some light just off of my shoulder without it spilling like everywhere, spilling light everywhere, and just keep it concentrated. This light there's enough power in here that you can put this at full power for just a little bit under an hour. At 50%, you can put this light and have it run at 50% for just a little bit over 2 hours. And then if you run it at just 20%, you'll get over 5.5 hours of continuous runtime. There's also a few other accessories with the combo kit that I really do enjoy. Number one, you get this nice little clamp on that you can put. So if you got something that has a 1/4-20, so you can get a spigot with a 1/4-20 or something that you can mount this to a light stand, you can just attach it here, and then it'll just close down and lock it in, and it holds it in place. And it's got multiple 1/4-20s on the side, so you could maybe put like a magnet and just attach it there. I would be very, very cautious of attaching magnets, but you could also get a secondary clip, maybe attach it to give it some more support. And the reason why is going to be one of the first negatives I'm going to talk about this light. Well, maybe not necessarily negatives, but things to be considered, and that is the weight. This thing is quite heavy. This light weighs about 1.3 kilograms. I don't know necessarily the weight in pound conversion. I'll put it somewhere there. But when you pull it out, you will notice the weight. You'll be like, whoa, this is heavy. But I've also used it with typical light stands. I actually am using the light that I'm using right now on a light stand. The light is able to hold it. I put it on C-stands, put it on arms. Obviously sandbag it. You should, that should be just standard practice. I shouldn't have to say, but make sure just your light is properly sandbagged, and it will hold this without too much issue. So you got the CCT mode that goes from, if we just go to the Kelvin, it can go all the way from 2700 all the way to 6500 Kelvin. Now, most of y'all know that I have reviewed the Molus X60 RGB light, and one of my biggest complaints was the fact that with pretty much most of their bicolor and lights up to this point, was the fact that they very much skewed magenta, and there really wasn't any way to correct it without using correction gels, which on cob lights you can get gels, fine gels, and do something to get closer to that. Here, because this is a pixel, each is a pixelated light, this is a full-on RGBWW light, you do get green and magenta colors. That to me is the awesome part. So I can basically correct the light to make it as appropriate as possible. I initially took this light over to Ireland when I went over for my anniversary trip, and what I loved about it was that the case, with everything, I could put it in its case and put it into a carry-on. I could put it into a carry-on size bag, and which really opens the door in terms of portability and travel uses. So just to have a 100-watt light that you can throw in any situations, that you could pop up and just be able to go and shoot and just take it everywhere. That's really one of the highlight things about this. With the bag and everything, it's just so easy to transport. So right now, I just want to go into some of the scenarios that I've thrown this in. I want to show you guys is the scene from the kitchen. Here I'm using 4 sets of Zhiyun lights. I'm using the Molus B500 as sort of my world builder. It's light that's shooting straight into the kitchen, and it's giving that nice little streak on the island counter, which I really do like. Then I have the Cinepeer C100 as a fill light just off to the left side to hit, sort of bounce off the table, but also give my daughter, the ability to just fill her up and just give her some additional lighting. And then I have my second Cinepeer C100 in the background, and that is set just at a warmer temperature, just to create some ambience and just lift that, and to sort of lift that up and give some, get some different lights, so to give a bit of depth to the scene. So I use it to create sort of like this tungsten warmth, like LED that's coming from bottom, again motivating, and then that's hitting that backlight area. And then finally, the last thing I used was the Molus X60 from Zhiyun, and that is just using as a hair light. I'm just using the standard reflector and throwing it at the chair just to give a hair light, so to help create some separation. And that's pretty much all I set up to do. So here's the scene. Honestly, I thought it came out well. Again, I just threw this together, but this is something just to show you what you can do with just the set of lights that you can get, both what these lights are capable of, but also what you can do in terms of lights just from their product line. The Modus B500, I've only just got that, and I'm having a blast for it. I'll talk more about that in the video. And I've already made a video of the Modus X60. I'll leave a link up there so you can check it out. But you can see in a multi-lighting setup, you can really use this to really amplify and get a good motivation of your scene. And lastly, I did another little night light scene where it's just sort of me by this little fire and just having a nice martini on the side, just sort of give sort of like kind of a little bit of an ambience, want to play with more of the RGB side of it. And this is honestly where my biggest gripe with the light comes from. And I want to just be very clear about this. Zhiyun is aware of this, and they are planning to release a firmware update. I mentioned this, and they told me that there is a firmware in the works to fix this situation. For some of y'all, this may be a make or break for you, and I totally get it, but just be aware, Zhiyun is aware of this, and they're gonna fix it. So what's the problem? So in the HSI mode, so I'm gonna turn it to HSI. I'm gonna crank this up. So right now, it's about 70%. I'm in this like teal territory right now, so you can see. Watch what happens to the light when I drop it under 60. So as you can see, it's drop it, but it's down, and then once I get to like 75, there's a shift. So now it's gone a lot more green, onto the green side versus being on the blue side of things. And it'll be more noticeable if I put it sort of closer to the green. So here's the brightness, like at 70, and then I'm gonna drop it down to, and as you can see, there's a green shift that's happening. But this will be very noticeable, most notably in the saturation mode. So I'm gonna drop the saturation by 1% and see what happens. Just 1%. Did you see that? I'll put this really closer so you can see. And actually, let me go. This will be much more noticeable with yellow. So watch what happens when I switch this out, when I drop the saturation by 1. You see that? This is just 1% saturation drop. So the problem with the HSI, the RGB aspect, is that it's not working in tandem with the warm whites and the cool whites LEDs. Essentially what that means is the warm whites and the cool whites are not adjusting for the changes in intensity and saturation. This is a problem because you don't get full control of the color spectrum, and you may not need 70% output, or you may not need 100% saturation, but there's such a dramatic shift. It makes this, in the HSI and the RGB modes at least, very difficult to use or not have as much flexibility as most RGBWW, especially tube lights, are. Now again, Zhiyun is aware of this, and they do plan to fix it. So you can control these apps via the ZY Vega. So right now I got the fill light on. It's set to 32, but I can make the adjustments and go right to 58. I can drop it down to 27. I'm gonna go right back to 32. The app is very easy to set up. As you can see, I can intensify it. Let's bring this back down to where I was, which was 2%. Again, this is 2%, which is crazy. And you can set it up to work in tandem with this. You can set up groups if you want to. So let me know what you guys think of the Cinepeer C100. I would love to know and hear from you guys. Let me know. Leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.